Hello everyone. Okay, so on today's video, we're going to be talking all about things that I use to study for the LSAT and just overall prep recommendations for law school, okay? But mainly LSAT prep recommendations. Now, we're in 2024. I used these materials 7 years ago, maybe. However, my clients now still use these materials, and everything that I talk about will be in the description box below. But anyway, my clients now use these materials that I recommend and they still like it. So clearly they still work. They are still relevant. And you guys, these are going to be some popular materials. So stay tuned while I get into all of that LSAT prep recommendations. For those of you who do not know me, welcome to my channel. For those of you who are returning, thank you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. My name is Sephora. I am a licensed attorney and law school coach. I clerked on both the federal district and federal circuit court, worked at 2 big law firms, had multiple big law firm offers while in law school, and I've helped hundreds of individuals get into and succeed in law school through my company, Topping the Curve. That's Topping the Curve on all social media. Okay, so LSAT prep recommendations. Let's get into it. First and foremost, and this may not be popular with some people, but I'm just gonna say what worked for me and what didn't, and what I've also seen work for my clients and what hasn't. So when I first started studying for the LSAT, and I'm gonna preface this with, I did not study long enough, right? I say it everywhere, I say it all the time. There's lots of things that I wish I had known back when I was applying, when I was going through the application stage, when I was going through law school, that I was kind of just learning as I was doing it. And now I'm giving to you guys because this needs to be shared. When I first started studying for the LSAT, I started out with Kaplan, I think it was Kaplan. I didn't like it and it didn't really help me. So then I switched over to PowerScore. This video is not sponsored, but it should be because PowerScore was the GOAT, okay? I loved PowerScore. Specifically, I used the PowerScore Bibles. I got the trilogy for the logical reasoning, the reading comprehension, and the logic games. Obviously now, beginning in August 2024, the LSAT will no longer have logic games, so you won't need to get the logic games book, but the other two still very relevant, okay? I'm also gonna go into some materials that I recommend for my clients. But anyway, so I use PowerScore. PowerScore was amazing. My first diagnostic, when I first took the test, my diagnostic was a 156, and I saw a 4-point jump to my actual, like when I first took the LSAT 2-ish months later. I told you I did not study for the requisite I didn't study for as long as I recommend my clients to study for, which is a year, which is that minimal 6 months to a year. Really, if people prepare early enough, if they find me early enough, I truly do recommend getting a full year of study time so you can reach your full potential. That's how my clients hit the 170s. Not an LSAT tutor law school coach, but I do LSAT strategy. But anyway, yeah, so 6 months to a year. So I only studied for about 3 months total, and it wasn't even like real studying, it was fake studying. I'm gonna do a whole video on just like my entire law school application journey and like everything and all that stuff. But anyway, for the purposes of this video, I loved PowerScore. I thought it was really helpful. I thought it was really good with breaking down the terms, breaking down how to approach the problems, the problem types. So I do recommend PowerScore. And a while ago, when I had first started my law school coaching, I did a survey of everyone I shouldn't say everyone, but I did a survey of a lot of people who I went to law school with. And the most popular was PowerScore, and the second most popular was 7Sage. So 7Sage is the other one that I also recommend my clients use. And by the way, clicking the link down below will lead you to the exact things that I'm recommending. So I'm not gonna give the exact titles and all that. Just click, it's my Amazon link, and it'll give you like all the things I'm talking about. So PowerScore was the #1. I used it. A lot of the people who I talked to use it. 7Sage was #2. And I think Blueprint was #3. And those are also the top 3 that my clients use as well and really like also. I know a lot of my clients really like PowerScore. They really like 7Sage. The other thing I recommend, I did not personally use this, but I also recommend PowerScore has free study plans on their website. Those are especially really helpful because you can literally just download those and follow their study plans. The most most important thing when you are going through your LSAT study prep is to make sure that you are drilling, okay? Drilling and taking practice tests. I cannot emphasize this enough. So many people, when they come to me and we're starting their law school application prep, so especially if I'm working with a client either one-on-one or in my group coaching community, you know, it's like, when was the last time you took a practice test? Oh, like 2-3 months ago. That's too long. You know, that's too long, especially as you're getting into that 3 to 6 month range. You should really be taking practice tests either bi-weekly, weekly, and I mean, even monthly is too low. Like really bi-weekly or weekly, you should be taking practice tests, because you have to know, what am I getting wrong? You have to practice your timing. How am I doing on timing? You have to know all this stuff. And the only way to do that is to actually take practice tests. And I was just telling this to my client the other day. That's how the bar is. Like the bar is literally a decent amount of people cannot complete all the questions on the bar because they do not have timing down. And so it's the same thing with your LSAT, although like the bar is 4 years into your future, because obviously it's after you graduate law school. But you know, it's the same concept in terms of you have to actually take the test in order to increase that timing. So really making sure that you're on a schedule to where you can take those tests on a regular basis, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever it may be, and getting in a good amount of study hours. It kind of depends on the client, but I typically recommend anywhere from, oh, and it also depends on like at what point in your studying you are, but anywhere from about like 5 to 20 hours per week, depending on how many hours and how much time you have left to study for the LSAT. Obviously, someone who only has 2 months to study for the LSAT, if they're just prepping, you're maybe gonna wanna do a little closer to 20 hours a week, but someone who has a year, you're probably okay with 5 hours a week, right? So, and then gradually increasing as you get closer to your LSAT. And so maybe I'll do a video on just a general law school application timeline. If you would like that video, let me know in the comments down below. And I think also now will just be a good time to encourage you guys to wait till the end of this video, but to sign up for my next workshop, where we're going to be teaching you guys all about the law school application process and how you can make yourself stand out while you are prepping. You can go get the link for that in the description box, or toppingthecurve.com, which is my website. And specifically the page, you will see it is toppingthecurve.com/workshop. Okay, so I recommended so far the PowerScore books, 7 Sage as a secondary, or even Blueprint as a tertiary, right? So that's like in terms of like LSAT prep. When you're getting down to like the nitty gritty, just some like helpful hints, tips that I use and that my clients use that work. So Loophole, also going to be in the description box below, is going to be really good for helping you increase your logical reasoning score. Really, really good. I did not use it, but my client, I don't even know if it existed when I was applying. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't know. One of those things that, you know, I didn't know. Loophole, really, really good for logical reasoning. So I recommend you getting the Loophole book. And in terms of reading comprehension, I always recommend to my clients, this one may come down to like testing out different things and seeing what works for you. But generally speaking, just becoming a stronger reader, right? So sometimes for some of you, if you read like 2 words per minute, you're going to need to increase your reading speed. So a lot of my clients will like read articles or just read things for fun. I'm not saying read super complicated things, but they'll just work on reading generally, right? To increase their reading speed. The secondary part of that is of course reading comprehension. So you want to make sure that you're comprehending what you're reading. So maybe after you read 1 page of a fiction novel, or 1 page of a romance novel, or 1 page of an article, you're pausing and you're asking yourself, what did that page say, right? Because it's comprehension. There's no point in picking up your reading speed if you're not actually going to be comprehending what the book or what the page is saying. So that's what I recommend in terms of the comprehension side. So in terms of like generally prepping for LSAT, just some other quick recommendations is to have a tracker. And so you know like what you've covered, what question types you're like proficient at, what question types you're not proficient at. And I'm sure you can find LSAT like study trackers online. I think 7 Sage may have one, or you can just create your own with all the different question types and like, I'm good at this, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at this, I need to work on this is how much I missed here. But you should be keeping track of that information so that you know how you're improving over time, right? So for example, like one of my clients, like when they first started and they're in my coaching community, they were around, I believe their diagnostic was a 142. And that was in January. And then Now in May, they're scoring 159, right? So well over a 10-point jump, like a 17-point jump, and they're not taking the LSAT until June and then again in August, right? And so keeping track of like, what question types are you proficient at? What question types are you consistently getting right? What question types are you consistently getting wrong? What question types then maybe you sometimes get wrong and sometimes get right, whatever it may be. It's important for you to understand that and then make sure you're keeping track of that information. So you're gonna obviously do this while you're going over your practice test. The next part of this is to do blind review. I recommend blind review to all of my clients just because, again, it's one of those things where you can actually see like, okay, if I took this test without any time restraints, how would I perform? Okay, so I think I've covered all of the LSAT prep and prep materials that I use and that I recommend to my clients to use. So I think that's it. If I miss anything, then it will all still be, like I said, multiple times during the video, it will all be in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any suggestions, comments, or questions about any other thing you want me to talk about, go ahead and leave a comment in the video down below. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video and follow Topping the Curve on all my other social media and to check out our website for law school coaching. Don't forget to sign up for that upcoming workshop. I will see you there. Bye.